Hedera recently made another reminder, but about what, right? It's not about the price, even though I'll talk about it later. It's actually about how FedEx, not that long ago, actually joined Hedera's council. Now, why did they even bother to make a post reminding people about this? Well, I think it showcases just how massive Hedera views this as, and I think this could very well impact Hedera hypothetically moving forward in such a profound way. And here's my rationale, even though, again, I'll talk about the price of HBAR later. But I first want to clarify, I am not telling anyone to do anything, and nothing I say is financial advice. Now, if we take a look at Hedera, they recently said that as one of the world's largest logistics companies and Hedera council member, FedEx brings deep supply chain and global commerce expertise to Hedera. Now, this is, I think, a really amazing thing in a sense where Hedera Hashgraph, we all know it doesn't utilize traditional blockchain technology. It uses something called a directed acyclic graph. And for a very long time, when it comes to this space, a lot of projects out there within this space that are focused on supply chain management, they are the ones that have an aspect of blockchain technology. So Hedera kind of steps in and changes all this because a directed acyclic graph is allegedly in some cases a lot more scalable, faster, and more economically friendly in some cases, and also more energy efficient when compared to some other projects out there that use traditional blockchain technology. So of course, if in the past we take a look at supply chain management and how some of these companies are using traditional blockchain technology and how that's worked okay, imagine now what Hedera and FedEx could do. Because again, Hedera Hashgraph doesn't utilize traditional blockchain technology. It uses a directed acyclic graph, which could very well bring a lot more possibilities in my opinion. Because imagine, even if, let's say, a directed acyclic graph is just a couple seconds faster than, let's say, another project out there that utilizes traditional blockchain technology, that couple second difference right there, amplified over hundreds, thousands, and even hundreds of thousands, or maybe even millions of times, that action is going to add up, especially over weeks, months, and years. So that gap right there is going to matter to a lot of these enterprises. And when I see Hedera having FedEx even be a part of their council, it showcases how Hedera actually is viewed in a positive way when it comes to FedEx to a certain extent. Furthermore, I think it showcases a growth in credibility when it comes to Hedera being able to do something like that. So it's no wonder why Hedera even made a reminder about this. Now, if we take a look at just the magnitude of something like FedEx, right? We'll see that, for instance, the current market cap is around 74 billion approximately. And also I saw like the latest reported revenue was around $95 billion. The net income was around 4.4 billion. And then also in terms of the amount of employees, it was around roughly 500,000. So we got to think about that. Something of that magnitude, size, and caliber was even willing to be a part of the Hedera Council. That's quite impressive, and this adds upon what's already in the Hedera Council. We take a look at the likes of Google, Dell. I mean, the list goes on and on. We take a look at FedEx. We even take a look at McLaren. Hedera's not playing around. And okay, I get it. People like to say, but if all of this is so impressive, why isn't the price changing? Like, why is this down? Well, it's because Bitcoin's down, Ethereum, Solana, and all this. It's very unusual, actually, if a project within this space, especially an altcoin, which HBAR is, to randomly go on an independent rally of its own like that, especially as of right now. Very rare, very unusual, and it typically happens for some random microcaps out there, but it doesn't typically happen for a project of this size. Now, with that in mind, though, why don't I mind waiting? Well, it's because, first of all, my mindset is more like a marathon. I don't mind waiting for years, and I really don't mind the dip. Those are the major reasons why. And also on top of that, as long as the project that I'm believing in, as long as I'm still seeing improvements, and as long as I still like the fundamentals, I don't mind waiting, because usually what survives in the long term anyways is projects with either a good following or not good fundamentals. And I like the fundamentals here. And not only that, right, the following is not bad either. HBAR is ranked 25th as of right now in terms of market cap within this space. So if I take a look at that combination right there, I just see no reason for me to give up as of right now, even though this is just personally me. I am not telling anyone to do anything. Now, if we take a look at HBAR, the market cap as of right now, it's around 3 billion. Now, if we take a look at a little bit in the past, let's say not even that long ago, okay, let's take a look at a year ago, basically. The market cap was around almost 12 billion. So if we just take a look at that right there, compared to a year ago, the journey back to there is around 4 times from where it is as of right now. One thing I know for sure, neither Ethereum or Bitcoin is, you know, moving 4 times if it goes back to where it once was last year. It's just not that, right? Bitcoin and Ethereum, yes, they have had a decrease, of course, but them going back to July of last year is not around a 4 times movement just because, yes, again, it's gone down, but it hasn't gone down so much. HBAR has, though. Not too much, but it's gone down a lot more significantly than Bitcoin and Ethereum when compared to last year. Is that a bad thing, though? Depends who you ask. Because, okay, the dip, it could be viewed as like a positive or negative thing. But I don't mind it because what happens if it goes back there? That's the thing. If it goes back there, then I'm going to a restaurant. That's the way you take a look at it. Just a figure of speech, right? Going to Sizzler or whatever, Ruth's Chris. Yeah, something like that. I don't necessarily view the quote-unquote dip as a bad thing personally for me, especially when I take a look at the fundamentals when it comes to Hedera. And keep in mind, right, a lot of the retail side of things, or should I say a lot of the retail market, is like leaving HBAR. However, we have to think about it. There's many large entities out there like Google, FedEx, McLaren, Dell, and many others who are still a part of the Hedera Council. The reason why I think some of these large entities don't mind the quote-unquote decrease as of right now is because some of these entities, they have a long-term mindset. They're sometimes in this space, and they're willing to be in this space, I should say, for many, many years. So what goes on, a dip, like whatever, sometimes it's just background noise eventually moving forward. And I kind of view it no different personally for me. If I take a look at Hedera, there's nothing wrong with it that I can see, at least fundamentally. I just don't know what bad thing happened to it. It's not like suddenly Hedera said that they're going to become a meme and suddenly they're not going to care about, any other things like that. That's not the case, right? Hedera is still very much focused on enterprise adoption. We see an aspect of AI, arguably. We see an aspect of real-world assets, or should I say RWAs. And then also on top of that, Hedera Hashgraph doesn't even utilize traditional blockchain technology, uses a directed acyclic graph. I still see all of that. It's not like it became anything different. If anything, it's improved lately. So if I take a look at Hedera, as long as I don't see anything fundamentally wrong with it, I just see no reason for me to just randomly leave. I mean, some people like to say, well, what happens if you care about it as of right now and then it goes down farther? The thing for me is it doesn't really concern me because, okay, let's say HBAR goes down, like, let's say 20 or 30 more percent, whatever the case may be. I don't mind because, first of all, I'm not looking to exit. So it's just like all hypothetically unrealized for me anyways, even though I'm not telling anyone to do anything. And then also on top of that, if let's say HBAR, again, were to go lower, it still doesn't change the fact that we're 4 times away from last year, right? So, okay, maybe it goes lower and then it suddenly becomes like 4.5 times away from where it once was last year. Yeah, okay, I mean, that could be the case, but it doesn't change the fact that as of right now, we're 4 times away from last year in terms of HBAR. It's like this, for instance. At one point, Bitcoin was at around 2 grand, right? 2,000, basically. And also at one point, it was at around 1,500. Now, that difference right there seems quite massive at the time, but eventually, as things recovered and as things actually done more than recovered, right? As things done fantastic for Bitcoin despite the decrease, that difference in hindsight doesn't really matter anymore. So if HBAR could go back to where it once was last year, it almost doesn't really matter, in my opinion, personally for me, if HBAR is like at this point right now or around 20 or 30% lower. Wouldn't really concern me just because the journey back to where it once was last year already would seem quite legendary to me. It would already be a pretty impressive recovery regardless, whether it's here or 30%, 40% lower or whatever. So yeah, that's just my rationale. I'm dollar cost averaging approximately once a month, that's it. But I'm not telling anyone to do anything, but nonetheless, when I saw Hedera make a, I guess, reminder when it comes to what they did with FedEx not that long ago in terms of how FedEx joined the Hedera Council, I just thought it was quite impressive, and I think it's a showcase as to just what Hedera has accomplished so far, which I think is, again, quite legendary seeing what they've done. But you know what? I'll be sure to make more updates as, they do announce more things or as things goes on. I'm still documenting my journey along the way. So hopefully y'all stay tuned for future upcoming videos. I want to say thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a very wonderful, amazing, and spectacular day. It's been Lee the Captain, and hopefully I'll see y'all on the next one.